But for now, his attention would be turned to his nemesis, Obi-Wan Kenobi. When they received intel that his fleet would be near Florum, Grievous used his enormous fleet to ambush them, swarming with multiple Munificence and Providence class, delivering hundreds of droid fighters. This cuts off Kenobi's attempt to send Cody to rescue Ahsoka, who had just been kidnapped by Hondo Ohnaka's pirate gang. This overwhelming force was able to provide cover for Grievous to board Kenobi's flagship, the Negotiator, with squadrons of HMP droid gunships and vulture droids combining to provide overwhelming fire within the Venator's main hangar. Grievous became a whirlwind of death, utilizing each limb to slash and crush the troopers before him, using their deaths to try and strike fear into the heart of the Jedi.
You'll regret that.
Despite the human's rage, he was still just a slave to the limits of an organic body. Grievous was able to saber lock and then kick Kenobi into an LAAT gunship. Cody's quick thinking has Obi-Wan force push a fuel tank into the cyborg as the clone fired. But the effect was only to provide Grievous with some singed armor and a chuckle. The Jedi would flee, and triumphantly he would take the bridge of Kenobi's flagship. A momentous prize in the war between these two, but the Jedi were always full of tricks.
Congratulations. However, if you're watching this message, that means I'm boarding an escape pod and shall soon be safely away from the ship, which is about to self-destruct.
The general would be forced to sprint back to his shuttle, barely making it away from the Venator as it was blowing to pieces in a tremendous explosion. After this mostly successful ambush, Grievous moved to his task of capturing the outer rim world of Florum. With this massive fleet and thousands of droids, Grievous confidently strolls into the Pirate King's throne room, climbs onto his table, and grabs the Weequay by the throat.
This planet is now under separatist control.
And what do you suppose that means?
It means you have a new master, pirate scum.
Informing the pirate that he will now bow to Count Dooku. And Dooku then explains over holo that the entire pirate army was now property of the CIS. As Grievous was directing the droid's salvage and scrapping efforts, we would get word that the Jedi had snuck into the compound. Ahsoka had been able to convince the pirates that their interests were now aligned, and after she rescued Hondo, the group hopped on speeders and tried to make it through the droid horde. Grievous pursues in a CIS combat speeder, and after a lengthy chase through a cavernous region, Hondo is able to lose them and get to his secret hangar, which contains Slave 1. Grievous had leapt onto the craft with Ahsoka and the Padawans, and when they crash, the dust clears to reveal that the cyborg was still with them. Walking up and seeing this group of children, Grievous laughs at how easily it will be to kill them.
So many lightsabers to add to my collection.
When Hondo flies up in Slave 1, Ahsoka tries to hold off the general, but his arsenal and expertise is just too great. His defense is impenetrable, and he uses his command of his metal body to grab her face and then backflip into smashing her skull against the ground. Ahsoka had improved exponentially since they first met, but still not enough. She would have to run away, and Hondo tries to get revenge, nearly blowing him to bits with Slave 1, before an AAT appears and opens fire. The general was saved, and although he could not collect any lightsabers in this series of attacks, he had taken out Kenobi's flagship and secured a valuable new sector for the CIS, while also neutering the pirate that had once captured Count Dooku. In the following weeks, Grievous would be planning the strike on the Valor space station in the Corida system, an attack which required the use of a captured Venator, packed full of Rhydonium, and sent on a collision course with this station, while it was hosting a Republic strategy conference which involved the top military brass and Jedi High Council members. The Republic had intercepted a message that might have given them a warning about this, but it used a new encryption method. This prompted the deployment of the droid-filled infiltration team D-Squad to try and retrieve it. A mission that ultimately stopped the attack just seconds before the Venator could strike its target. If this would have been successful, Grievous would have helped to bring about the death of his nemesis, including most of the High Council and Republic military leaders. Losses that would have almost certainly forced the Republic to sue for peace on CIS terms.